Hello, this video training is about Malaysian GST bad debt training video. Before we start, let me do a quick introduction on the Malaysian GST bad debt. By 1st April 2015, transactions or sales that you have made before 1st April 2015, the system will not calculate and claim back the tax amount. So the system is able to handle that. It will not do the debt recover and debt relief. Where we handle the debt recover and debt relief is at the month-end close process. So to demonstrate how we do that, we have actually created several transactions. And for sales transactions, you have $100 for April and $200 for April 2. And for purchases, you have 200 in April and 210 in April 14. And the rest, etc., is a demonstration only. So with these transactions created, assuming that by 1st October 2015, the bad debt recover is actually $410, and the debt relief is actually $300. That is the 1 plus 3, 1 plus 2, and 200 plus 200 plus 210. So that will be $410 to recover. Now the complication, the requirements from the custom is that for all purchase transactions needs to be recovered automatically. There's no exception, and they require accounting software vendor to recover it automatically. While the debt relief, which is this amount, it did not state that we have to do it automatically or recover automatically. Now, with this, it creates a different mechanics and handling mechanism for debt relief. So for debt relief, we understand that the cash flow is very important to any business. Therefore, the system by default will try to recover all transactions that is more than 6 months. All right. So, but then there are scenarios whereby you do not want to initiate a debt relief for the sales transaction. So, and what other scenario would that be that you want to take exceptions on it? So what we have done is that we'll move on to the next slide. Right? We thought of the possible scenarios that would be involved in managing the GST debt relief and debt recover. For debt recover, it's very straightforward. Debt relief will require several steps and processes involved. Now, but for debt relief and debt recover, the first thing that they have in commonality is that before you close the month end, the first thing is that you want to know how much that you are going to recover and how much you're going to relieve. So basic information that you need to know. And from there on, you want to drill down to find out exactly what are the transactions, okay, that are under the category of relief and recover. And you want to look in detail on that particular transaction. Our system allows you to do that capability in a single click, all right? To make it very easy for the users to understand the purchases and sales position for taxes in respective to tax. And once you have reviewed the debt recover and debt relief transactions, especially for debt relief transactions, that is, or sales, you may want to block some of the transactions from being processed. Reason being is that you may not have sufficient document to prove at the point of when you're processing your debt relief, right, or closing the month. So you want to be able to block some of the transactions so that you can proceed with claiming your submitting your GST file, right? In addition to that, over time, later or subsequently a few days later, you might want to see what are the transactions that was blocked. All right. So therefore, you can take corrective actions on it. So and follow up from there. And when you have when you have done all the follow up and you still don't get any results from your, especially from your sales, that means your customer did not make payment to you, you might want to decide to claim debt relief. All right. So from the government, and to do the debt relief, we suggest that use the manual adjustment, all right, to recover back your debt relief, so that when you generate the next GST form, or the next submission or next filing information, the GST form 3 will include that adjustment that you have just made. Now, at the same time, you also want to record down that for that particular transaction that you did not manage to recover, or your customer did not pay you, you want to indicate that you have actually initiate a adjustment to it. All right. So you must have the capability to change the status from block to relief. Okay. And finally, we also show you how to do some setup in a parameter, and we'll finally also do a demo on how and where to do the setup and also perform the transaction. Okay. So this video will basically cover on this particular area, and we believe we have actually considered using the debit note and credit note to handle it, but we felt that debit note and credit note is not the best way of handling it. Reason being is that debit note and credit note has impact on the debtor statement, all right, and we do not want this to be reflected in the debtor statement. Okay. And in addition to that, we have to consider using provision, and provision is not the best way of handling it too. So this is a separate mechanism. Now then the question goes back to here is that how is the accounting entry handled? So we will show you how to set up the accounting entry, and then we move on from there. Okay, so now I'll do a quick demo on how you handle this 4 transactions. Okay, so let me give you a minute. All right, you have, I'm sure this is the login screen. All right, the login to the system, and you will see that there's a list of menu over here. Okay, and to run the month end, click on to this link. Okay, file, close month end, and the system will generate, will indicate that you're closing the month of October. All right. So and you want to list the relief, and the system will tell you also when you process this month or close this month, you are going to get a tax relief of $16.98, and purchase tax recovered will be $23.31. Okay, so and at this point, okay, you may dispute, or you may not agree, or you may want to understand more exactly what are the transactions that form this total amount. All right, so you click on to this link. Okay, when you click on to this link, the system will show you a new tab, okay, with the new transactions. Okay, and in here, sorry, the transactions that form the total amount to be relieved. Okay, $16.98 and $16.98. Okay, so at this juncture, I may want to decide to say that I don't want this to be processed. Okay, or I want to see this transaction in detail. What I do is that I click on to this link, and it show you the details of the transaction. All right, so at the same time, if I decide that I don't think I want to process this transaction, what I can do is block this transaction. So it is DSL 101. Okay, I block this transaction. Okay, so once I've done that, Okay, I go back to my month end, you see that the amount has actually reduced. Okay, so if I want to see this purchase transaction recovered, transaction list, these are two of them. You cannot block any of these transactions. The system do not allow you to do that. Okay, so now I have done a block on my previous transaction. Next, I can do what I can do is that I've not submitted to process this month. So now I'm going to submit it to process it. So that's it. Okay, the month October is closed. All right. So what happens is that you have claimed your tax relief for October and November. Okay, and now you want to see what are the transactions that was blocked. Okay, to see those transactions that was blocked, all right, click on to Malaysian GST related block debt relief listing. It shows you that this was a transaction that was blocked. Now, if you have blocked many transactions, then many of them will appear here. All right. So click onto this to find out more about this transaction. Okay. So yeah. So and from here, assuming that you have attempt to recover and you have finally achieved sufficient documentation to claim tax relief, then you have to do a manual adjustment to do the accounting entry and come back to this screen to indicate that now is no longer blocked. I have actually claimed relief for this particular transaction. Okay, so come back to this screen. That is the block bad debt relief screen. Click relief. Now the status here, as you can see, will change from block to relief. Okay, so this is how you indicate that if you have many transactions, some will be blocked, some will be relieved. Okay, you will know that which has been relieved. All right, so this helps you to manage the transactions better. Okay, now coming back to the setup, the question is how do you know what accounting entry to post and so on? We do not try to decipher it for you. You can set up on your own. Now for the setup, all right, go to the setup, account module setup. In the account module setup, you'll find that there's a Malaysian GST setup link here. Click onto that, and you'll find that the setup been done over here already for you. Some of them. Now, if you are for sales relief and debit account, sales relief credit account, you can change the account, whichever account you want it to be. Okay. Currently is the input tax, and this is the AR GST liability. Okay. So it's a debit input tax, credit your AR liability, right? Similarly, claimable and output tax, okay, AP claimable. So these are the accounting entries that you will post into for every of the transactions, okay? Now, we also like to highlight that if the government decides to change that your debt recover or relief to be made every three months instead of 6 months, then you can change the parameter by changing here, okay, 3, all right, and you can save it. Now, but assuming the government decide to defer the GST commencement date, what you have to do is just change this date to, let's say, if it's from April to maybe May, all right? All you have to do is just change this date, and that's it, okay? And the system will handle the rest of it, okay? So, once you're happy with the changes, okay, you can save the changes over here, update by updating it. Okay. Now these are the other fields that is used for other purpose. If you have a self-bill, then you need to key the information. This use simplified tax invoice basically indicates that you want it to default with simplified tax invoice, so you don't have to click it every time when you generate sales or purchases. Okay, then the maximum claim amount is $30, right? And the industry code, if you have an industry code, you update that, right? So that's it. So, and click update. Okay, system it takes effective. Okay, so generally this is how the you want to manage your debt, GST debt relief and recover. It's very simple steps. We try to make it very simple, and to make it so that you guys do not have to find it too difficult to use the system. Okay, so if you have any question, send an email to us, um, and if you need more information how to use the system, send an email to us at es2cloud@gmail.com. Okay, so that's the end of the training video.